Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so I have Jesse Ancira III on the line, and he's CEO at Fecundity Consulting and CMO at Ancira Salsa. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adam. Thank you for having me.
All right, Jesse. So excited to get more into what you're doing over at Fecundity Consulting and also Ancira Salsa. But just to get us kicked off, start this episode that way we start them all with our signature question. So Jesse, we at Mission Matters, we amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. So that's our mission here. Jesse, what mission matters to you?
My mission is to deliver actionable, substantive marketing strategies to my clients who are entrepreneurs, consultants, freelancers in the marketing, retail, and e-commerce space. This mission is important because marketing is a vast complex of communication means, and business owners can become quickly overwhelmed with marketing options. So therefore, it is my duty to demystify marketing into a package deliverable that is accessible, repeatable, and concise.
Man, love that. It's a great mission. And I love, I don't know if that's your tagline, but I love it. Demystifying marketing. Man, that's awesome. And I get it too. And we'll go further into this because a lot of business owners listening that are like, yeah, we're overwhelmed with choices, man. Help us out, Jesse. So we'll get into that. And I think just to get us kicked off though, maybe a little bit more about your background. So like, tell us a little bit more about how you got kind of on this entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, great. So I actually have a background in public administration. I have a master's in that. I used to work for the state of Texas. I worked for the Legislative Budget Board. I was a policy analyst and a legislative liaison up in Austin. Around 2019, one of my buddies, he was in the cannabis industry, and he tapped me and he was like, "Hey, it's booming over here in California. You're really skillful. We think you should come on board, help us out with some consulting." So shout out to Accurate Extraction, shout out to Busy Bee. So I pretty much took the leap of faith, and I began working with them in the cannabis slash extraction industry, where we would do tours and trade shows. We'd be in New Orleans, LA, Vegas, Barcelona, and we'd pretty much be on the sales floor, with huge 100-pound, 90-pound centrifuges, and we would just be showcasing the products. We do full turnkey lab system build outs. So that was 2019. I began shadowing them, and I really admired the flexibility that came with consulting. However, COVID happened in 2020, so a bunch of his business partners sort of split separate ways. Some went off to Seattle, some went to, I think, Toronto. So inevitably, I had to start my own business. So that's where I started Fecundity Consulting. And around that same time, I also got tapped by my father to join Ancira Salsa as the chief marketing officer. So it was all around the same time, everything coalesced and happened at once.
Man, that's awesome. What a great story. And I feel like the pivot, like a lot of businesses started from, I was doing one thing and then I saw this vision or I saw like what was possible. So I guess let's go further into Fecundity Consulting. So maybe just start with the basics. So tell us specifically about the company and what you do.
Okay, so I get asked this question nearly every day. So what's up with Fecundity? What's up with the name? Well, fecundity is derived from Latin. It's related to fertility, fruitfulness. I use it in accordance with the abundance of production of the mind, meaning we give birth to your ideas in the marketplace. So that is the name that I wanted. I wanted to engender ideas, birth them, so to speak. So I went with that name. And essentially, I'm a marketing consultant. So I help entrepreneurs, consultants, and freelancers grow their business with scalable marketing strategies. So just to give you kind of some more context, I'm actually going through a coaching program. So I have a business coach on the other side. Her name's Ari Hale. Shout out to Ari and all my ATH family. So I joined her program earlier this year, I think in January. It's so massive that to go through the program, it's 9 months where you scale out your business. However, it became so big, she extended it to 3 more months, so a full year. So I'm in the process in the background scaling up Fecundity to where it's no longer one-on-one sort of the traditional retainer style, to where I have it now. I'm launching in January 2022. So right now I'm building out my course module. So I know some people kind of get put off by the term course, but it's not just a course. It's a course, it's education, it's a hybrid mixed with consulting, because it's not just you download it into your downloads folder and then you never look at it again. You have submissions, you have audits, you have my feedback. So you're getting actual real life consulting. So there's touch points between me and the client. But anyways, the purpose of that program is to help marketers get ready to scale. So my whole program is about preparation and anticipation, because I've scaled up Ancira. I've worked with businesses in the cannabis industry who scaled up. I've worked with office co-space, conference spaces, kind of like we work, but on a local scale, and marketing. So I'm taking all of that and what I've learned from industry insiders, and I'm using that to equip marketers to, when they're ready to scale, this is what you need to be prepared for. This is what you need to anticipate. So like I said earlier, marketing is super extensive and you can't do everything, but my goal or my objective is to equip you with as much as I can to where you retain your own leverage and you're not constantly always outsourcing to outside entities. Or you can, when you do outsource, all of your dollars aren't going outhouse. They're coming back in-house because you yourself are now the marketing expert. So you can pay for other operations instead of paying, outside operations and outside marketing. You can retain a lot of your leverage. So right now in my course module, I have 9 key courses. I'll just run through them real quick. I do organic Facebook strategy / native marketing, the stuff that Gary Vee talks about. I teach event marketing, email strategy, website strategy, SMS, affiliate marketing. One of my favorites is digital or physical product and packaging and labeling. Another one that's a little unorthodox that I don't hear that often, I actually teach a sponsorship strategy. It's one of those things that people take for granted, and I like to pull as many angles as I can with sponsorship. So I harp on that a bit. And then the 9th one is public relations. And yes, I'm well aware public relations and marketing are not the same. However, like I said, I'm unorthodox. So, it's 2021. I can adapt, I can diversify where I need. And then my bonus, I just added this to my module. It's a retail distribution module. And this one's probably my most valuable module because it has a lot of key insider consulting information. And like that is when you are ready to talk to big buyers, big brokers, big distributors, and you don't want to be caught off guard. Because with everything, whenever you scale up, there's always going to be a learning curve. I've got hit with plenty of learning curves. I'm sure y'all had in y'all's early days. But what I'd like to do is take the stress off of the business owner and say, hey, look, it's okay. The big buyers are going to come at you with all these requests, and you need to have all this information, markedly arrayed for them in a nice, organized manner. So I like to just help them as much as I can and be prepared. And also, everything that I teach, I've done, and I'd like to think everything in my program, in my Fecundity program, it's all actionable. So anything that's superfluous, I take it out. It's not necessary because you don't want to go and just hear filler all day and hear nice bubbly words. It's vignettes. So it's stories, it's action items. It's, hey, put this branding kit together, put this wholesale kit together. Hey, send me your website, send me some of your social media. I'm going to take a look at it. This is where I can help you get these touch points. So yeah, that's the basis of it.
So what kind of and you mentioned one niche, so you've worked heavily in the cannabis niche. What other kind, just in general in your experience, for Fecundity Consulting, what other niches do you work with, or are you niche agnostic? Like what I'm trying to get at is like who's the type of business or entrepreneurs that get the most value out of working with you and your team?
It's mainly entrepreneurs, consultants, and freelancers that have been around
Mhm.
less than 3 years, so kind of in the earlier stages.
Yeah.
It's one of those, that's my key
Mhm.
demographic. But as far as clients that I onboard, I have a wide array. So I have, so I'm here in Texas right now.
Mhm.
I have some people who are ranch owners. I have some people who are own wedding venues. I
Yeah.
have other guys that own charter boats out on Lake
Mhm.
Travis. I've got other people who, other clients who own restaurants, more catering
Mhm.
businesses. But it's also for the photographer, for the videographer, how
Yeah.
they can market themselves. Because what I find out is a lot of my clients are very
Mhm.
good technicians. They're
For
very
sure.
good, awesome graphic designer, website developer, videographer, but they want to like learn, hey,
Mhm.
how do I grow? How do I scale?
Yeah.
And that's where I come in and add the value for them, kind of give them the industry nuances that they need to be, ready for.
I just got to tell you, Jesse, first off, I love when I get a Texas interview, number one. But number two, when you started off with, I got ranches, I was like, oh, he's Texas, Texas. That's awesome. Like to be able to also, I know you work internationally, but to be in tune with your local market, I feel like is sometimes a lost art in marketing. Like there's so many people around you, so many businesses that could benefit from like the knowledge, like a Fecundity Consulting, like the things that you're doing locally, of course, internationally and everything else. But it just makes me smile when you're like, I got ranches I'm helping. I'm like, come on, Jesse, keeping it Texas. So I think it's awesome. What do you find? So I don't want to oversimplify this. Obviously, there's only so much we can do in an interview, right? But I do know you've worked with a lot of people. And so I don't want to oversimplify this. And I know there's no like magic bullet or one thing that's going to fix anything. But what do you find are some of the common mistakes, or just some of those common themes that you see over and over and over again with clients, that sometimes like mistakes that they don't even know they're making in some of their efforts in terms of marketing and other things?
Sure. Yeah, there's a few of them.
Mhm.
Definitely the term posting and ghosting. A lot of people think you can just, post a pretty picture on Instagram and
Mhm.
then go, and then you're just going to automatically convert. That's like one step, out of like 10.
Yeah.
You've got to engage more. Um, you've got to DM people who like your
Mhm.
content. You've got to go and show them love and say, hey, I noticed, you've been engaging frequently with our post. I'm real big on customer service.
Mm.
So, if I get someone who's sharing all of our Facebook posts, I'm gonna go and send them, free case of salsa, something like that. Another thing that I notice that people sometimes omit from their marketing strategy
Mhm.
is videos on their website. I like to
Mm.
tell my clients, hey, do a nice introduction video.
Mhm.
Tell them who you are. Because yeah, I mean, products are one thing, and services a list. You obviously need service provisions listed out, and
Mhm.
very poignantly. But a lot of people like to get to know you. They like to see, hey, what is this
Yeah.
person about? Like, who am I working with? Like, if I'm going to invest with you, I need to like, show some FaceTime. So I like to tell them, hey, and it doesn't have to be super 4K production.
Mhm.
You can still be iPhone ready and
Mhm.
still, look professional, look sharp. Um, One of the other things that I like are actual product videos. So
Mm.
there's this one company, the cigar company. I have no affiliation with them. I
Yeah.
just like to cheap their cigars when I'm in Vegas, but they're called Rocky Patel. I may
Ah, I
be
love
pronouncing that
Rocky. Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, so if you go to their website, you'll notice under, some of their select cigars, they have videos, and those videos show you real nicely how they're
Yeah.
sourced, how they're packaged, how they're made, and it just gives you that more granular look that I think more businesses could use.
Mm-hmm.
Just whenever you're operating a business and you're marketing, one of the best things that works for me and my clients is becoming your own expert, becoming your own opinion leader. It's your business, so you should be the technician. So hey, you want to get a little wonky and granular, go ahead and do it, because some people will admire that.
Yeah.
That's one piece of my advice for sure.
That's awesome. And I love the CPG side that you just mentioned, like Rocky Patel and some of the marketing they do and other things. I feel like there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from brands that are out there. So I always tell people, like, if you have a brand you follow or you like, that, like, there's probably a reason other than the product. Obviously, you have to have a good product, right? That's a given. But if there's a reason why you're choosing this product or this cigar versus another one, maybe like look at their marketing, look at their social media, look at some of the things that maybe in their brand experience that might have influenced your decisions and thought process behind buying it. Like a simple one that I always tell people, I'm like, you're not the only person that goes on Amazon's and looks for reviews and reads those. Like, people make decisions on reviews. So if you have a certain type of product that can benefit from reviews, right? That's on Amazon, like that should be part of the focus, because the people that are going to be buying your product are making buying decisions the exact same way you do. Like, we're not all that different as people. And I feel like the best marketers get that, and they're able to just say, hey, my buying decisions, like there's a certain segment that's going to buy just like that, and to maybe put themselves in the shoes of whatever avatar was created for the particular product, right? So there's going to be different avatars and ways to go about that. So no, I think it's great and it's valuable what you said. Give us a little bit. I do want to spend some time on us in Ancira Salsa. So family business, am I right?
Yes, sir. Ancira Salsa is it's my grandparents' recipe out here in Taylor, Texas. They developed it in the late 90s just as a hobby. And then they would always go to local trade shows, farmers markets, little small markets around here, and sell their salsa and win awards for, the best salsa. And then recently, a few years ago, my father, he turned it into a formal LLC. And then he brought me on. So just to give you an idea of how fast we grew, I think it was 2019. We had no website presence, no internet presence, no Facebook, nothing. We were just in one small farmers market in town. And then 1 year later, we were in over 15, and then currently we're in 20 stores right now. But I'd like to harp on something you mentioned in the previous segment, where it's reviews, and that's right. We started converting really high when we added a review tab. So if you go to ancirasalsa.com, you'll notice right on the left side is a prominent review tab. We've got over 75-star reviews, and these are all organic. None of these are bots. They're all organic reviews. And so, customers like to see, which flavor they're looking at, and hey, okay, the green sauce has a bunch of reviews. The 6-pack sauce has a bunch of reviews, and social proof helps. That's something I teach in Fecundity. Twitter reviews help. Twitter praise. That's real big. I'm seeing a lot of my colleagues. What they'll do is on their sales page, everyone who's like my coach, she does this. Anyone who gives her sort of praise or her program praise, she'll copy or she'll screenshot the tweets, and then she'll just throw them up on her website on the sales page, and just bam, look at all this organic, praise. And that, customers are they like to see that, because they know it's real. It's not just some bot, or it's not just some fake type of follower. You can see, you can go back to the person who tweeted it, and you can go DM them, hey, how did you like working with them, or how did you like those Ancira Salsa products? So testimonies are real big.
Man, that's a big deal. And like, how good does it feel for you to, like, carry on, like, and to grow your your grandparents' like legacy and what they were doing? Like, it's kind of amazing. Like, hearing this story, man, I got goosebumps. I'm like, come on, man, you're bringing the recipe out to the world.
Yeah, it's in the beginning, it was a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah.
It was sort of hard to stir up that.
Is that an understatement though? A little pressure? Yeah, you were pressured, I'm sure. You're like, I gotta do it, man. The family's counting on me to keep the legacy on. It's awesome. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. No, we had to. I think what contributed most to our success was consistency. And I think a lot of young entrepreneurs need to know, Hey man, in the first 6 to 9 months, just post every single day. It doesn't matter if you get 3 likes, you get
Yeah.
6 likes, it doesn't matter. Be consistent and
Mm,
eventually it will catch on. And plus you don't need to worry about all the likes,
yeah.
shares. It's about conversions. Are they going to your site? Are you
Hmm.
converting? Are you sending out proposals?
Hmm.
It's all about the conversions. But yeah, back to Ancira Salsa. It's pretty wild because now I think we've sold in 49 states. We've sold in Canada. I just shipped one of my colleagues a salsa case to Toronto yesterday.
That's
And
amazing.
then, for instance, we have a professional barbecue pit master in
Mm.
Australia. He uses our salsa when he's cooking in competitions, and he's all the way in Australia. So when I show my grandparents stuff like that, it's kind of emotional because
Yeah.
it's like, wow, they're Hispanic.
Yeah.
They came kind of from a low economic
Hmm.
scale, and they just did it as a hobby, and all of
Hmm.
their coworkers would just be like, hey, what's up with the salsa? And then eventually, my father, he works in the Capitol complex
Hmm.
slash lobbying, and for the state of Texas. So what he would do is, he's got his own unique marketing style, which I've got to applaud him.
Yeah.
So he has a niche in the Capitol. So what he would do is, in the early days, he would just send all of, it doesn't matter, nonpartisan. He would
Yeah.
send different offices care packages, during Thanksgiving and
For
Christmas,
sure.
saying, hey, here's my family salsa, check it out. Well, after a few years, it caught on so heavily that
Yeah.
my grandparents were not able to produce at scale. So eventually we got a co-packer in
Hmm.
Texas, and all of our recipes are NDA. It's their
Hmm.
recipes. They're just made in bulk batches. It
Yeah.
still has the same fidelity of flavor.
Mm.
So eventually we scaled up. We got co-packers, and then we hit another level. We got a fulfillment center out in Austin. So now whenever you purchase on our site, we have a warehouse team, fulfillment team, and, they're sending all over the nation. Um, and now the third step is retail distribution.
Mm.
So right now we're scaling up in our third phase. Quick shout out to my brokers,
Mm.
Stephen Ewing with Brocoms. So we brought him on recently, and what he does is he gets brands in the specialty food
Hmm.
industry, like salsa, hot sauce,
Yeah.
condiments. He gets them reviewed by big banner stores and
Mm.
buyers. So we're going through that phase right now. So, and quarter 1 of 2022, that's when you'll start seeing Ancira Salsa on more of your big box
Hmm.
chains. We have to go through the review process. It's pretty extensive, but it's been fun. Like even prior to that, we're outside of tech. We're actually in Chicago. I think we're in Oakland, we're in San Diego.
Hmm.
So it's very cool to see, from my grandparents' kitchen all the way into a random market in Chicago. It's cool to see that.
Man, what a great success story. And the reason why I wanted to dive deeper into Ancira Salsa, well, of course, I just want to know more of the story. Just personally, I'm a huge fan of family businesses. Come on, carrying on the grandparents' legacies from farmers market to big box like chain store. Like that's the dream. That's amazing. You're creating something that is leaving not only a legacy, but building value, building jobs, that warehouse, like all the other fulfillment centers, all those things that takes people, right? So you're creating a lot of value with taking on that legacy of your grandparents and selling more salsa. But then another reason I wanted to go through this is just to kind of prove your point that you said earlier, like the things that you're teaching and the things that you're doing. Nothing against anybody that's out there giving information, not like nothing against that. There's a lot of value, so I would never knock anybody that's out there trying to help somebody in any way. Like there's different voice for different people, and the idea is if we're trying to help somebody and doing our best, hey, I applaud you. But getting back to your story, Jesse, like you're doing it. So when you're talking about like scaling, when you're talking about retail distribution, when you're talking about all these things, like you're teaching things that you've actually done, that you're proving to do, and not claiming to have every answer in the world, but you're a specialist in your wheelhouse, and you can help businesses and you can help clients succeed. And you're doing it, and you're also doing it for yourself. So, I mean, that's the proof in my opinion.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and like we said in the opening segment, marketing is super extensive. For instance,
Yeah.
I don't teach SEO, I don't teach Google Ads. I outsource all that.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do everything, but the key is to just retain as much leverage within your own team that you
Yeah.
can. That way, whenever you do need to outsource, you feel a little more comfortable doing that because you know that you've done your best on your end. You're already operating, so.
It's awesome. So Jesse, I have to ask you. I mean, I know you got a lot going on. Fecundity Consulting, you have you have some modules up, and you'll be continuing to add and build out the other function of it. I know you're still doing the one-on-one consulting and consulting with your team. Ancira Salsa on a growth path. I'm excited to try it, man. I didn't get this care package and all that stuff you're talking about. That's what I should have interviewed your dad, because he would have sent me some. No, I'm just
Yeah,
but seriously, Jesse,
package.
So what's next? Like, what's next for you? What's next for Fecundity Consulting and Ancira Salsa? Like, what's next?
So yeah, for what's next for Ancira Salsa, it's funny, we just finished our segment. We're gonna be on national TV. We're gonna be on HSM. We just finished our segment. We sent it to the producers last week, and they had their own in-house production.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of me on camera talking about the early stages, the early narrative of Ancira Salsa, and then they piece it together with their, high production studio that's going to be TV ready. So that will air all through the Thanksgiving season. It will air 5 times nationally, 2 times in the tri-state area. So they have a lot of viewership in the Hamptons. So it'll be real interesting to get some of that viewership, maybe open up to some of those markets. But the key thing about that story, so this goes back to marketing, because people ask, how did y'all get on TV? Well, we didn't go to some TV website and say, hey, we'd like to apply. It doesn't work like that. Like they sought us out. Now here's the story to that, and it's all with marketing. So earlier, I think it was the summer, we outside of Texas are on our e-commerce platform. The second most selling is Florida. For some reason, people in the state of Florida and South Florida, they really like our salsa. Well,
awesome.
One individual, I don't even know who it is, they purchased our salsa, then they had a party. They hosted our party with chips and salsa. Just had a party. Well, luck had it that the TV producer attended that party, tried the salsa, and I was like, dude, what is this? And they're like, oh, that's Ancira Salsa. Well, that's part one. Good products, everyone has good products, everyone has good services, but that can only get you so far. So the other step of that is the marketing. So, we had prominent marketing on our labeling and our jars. So they checked us out. They did our homework. They did their due diligence on our website. And because they, liked our website, they liked our marketing, then they initiated, hey, we're going to reach out to them. We think you're ready. See, if our marketing hadn't been up to par, they would have said, man, it's a great product, but they're not there yet. They're not ready. But because our marketing in tandem with the high quality products, it persuaded them to say, yeah, we like these guys. We're gonna take an investment on them. So that's how that works. That's how important word of mouth is, organic marketing is. It just you never know who's trying your products, or services, who's looking at you, who's watching you. So just thankful.
Man, that's a great story, Jesse, and I see it, and that's one of the big things. So like brand alignment, like if you might have a great product, you might have all these things, but for them to put you on the program, like they know their viewers are going to look up the brand. If they look up the brand and there's like a website that's just a landing page, it's kind of broken, kind of this, kind of that makes their program look bad too. So like that's the whole brand alignment thing. Like, so it's not, you got to have more than a good product, and good distribution and good customer service. I completely agree with you. You have to have an outward presence. We're just all too connected, whether it's social media, website, all this. we're all too connected. I can't tell you how many times I've had like the experience of I'm like maybe a new beer or something, like something new. And the
Right.
first thing I do is I go on Twitter, I go on Instagram, because I want to see who they are. I want to feel connected to the product. And if I don't see them on Twitter, I'm like, okay, not everybody's on Twitter anymore. Fine. Like that's okay. Then I don't see them on Instagram too. And if you're a food product or something else like that, and I'm like, man, like if I can't find you on either, like that's a problem. And I don't think about it twice. Like I've had the exact same thing happen on my end from the production side where I'm like, oh, this is good. I never heard of this. And I'm like, let's check them out. And then I look and I can't find anything. I'm like, I don't think about it a second time. Like they had that one moment to get my attention, not only as a consumer, which I am, obviously I like their product, but also as a producer and also as somebody that's, always looking for guests and things like that. Like it's like, yeah, that's not going to probably work. I'm not going to go home and like find their email address and all of this. They might have got a quick DM right that moment and said nothing. So I think what you said is very credible. It makes perfect sense. And I've experienced it many times. So Jesse, that being said, this has been awesome. I mean, I've really enjoyed learning about both the companies, Fecundity Consulting, and all the great things you're doing there to help business owners, executives, experts out there, and also Ancira Salsa. I mean, just what a great story, carrying on grandparents' legacy and just like building, like in my opinion, the next generation should do. That being said. So if somebody's watching this right now and they want to learn more about Fecundity Consulting, or hey, if they want to pick up some salsa, man, because I know I'm going to, what's the best way for people to connect?
Sure. For Fecundity, I would recommend go to fecundityconsulting.com, subscribe to my email list. But deeper than that, go to my Instagram at Fecundity Consulting and go to one of my recent IGTVs. I won a marketing, retail, and advertisement award at the MGM Grand, and
Wow.
I did a vlog. I shot a vlog. So if you watch that vlog, it's like 7 minutes. It's called Fecundity Vegas Vlog or something like that. You'll find it easily. But watch that, and you'll get a glimpse into like my style, how I go about my business, and what I can bring to your
Yeah.
business, my style of production and stuff like that. And then separately, if you're a salsa fan, if you're a foodie,
Yeah.
go to ancirasalsa.com, and we're everywhere. You can go to our website and purchase, or you can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram. We are on Twitter. But yeah, definitely go to ancirasalsa.com. We have 5 different flavors from my grandparents' recipe. Try it out.
Awesome. Well, again, Jesse, been a pleasure having you on the show. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you learned a lot. Don't forget, especially if you're a first-time viewer, like hit that subscribe button. We definitely want you to be a return listener and visitor. Want you got many, many more mission-based entrepreneurs and executives coming up for you. And we don't want you to miss any of those. And Jesse, really, it has been a pleasure. Thank you for sharing your story and your mission today.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. And I'll send you a care package after this.